Doya, who is the co-founder of the NEST Center for Journalism Innovation and Development. And she's going to be going over some of the findings that she did with UB Info from our consumer survey. So Doya, I'm going to pass it over to you.
So in terms of the news consumption trends in UB survey, this survey aims to kind of understand how the consumers are consuming information or news in Mongolia, and are we as media organizations able to fulfill those demands. So what we're gonna do, okay. Sorry, okay. Internet was slow. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to try to understand who the consumers of today are, how are they consuming news, and what's our way forward, how do we step forward. So we're living in this environment where misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, digital disruption, and COVID-19 are the new normal. I have COVID-19 smaller because this is actually a recent phenomena. Disinformation, misinformation, and digital disruption has been there forever, as long as we can remember. So how do we adapt to those? NEST Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development, we are a recently established NGO aimed at promoting independent, diverse, and professional journalism by providing journalists with capacity building trainings, year-round mentorship programs, and its own Udzig agency platform. You can see our little pink icon there. Udzig is Mongolian for pen, hence our icon. So in terms of the development of our platform, that is as far as we had gone. The website is still under construction. And we believe that economic independence is key to freedom of press, especially in Mongolia. And we're testing a dynamic paywall model. And we believe this could probably be a solution to sustainable journalism in Mongolia. And we have asked some questions to test that hypothesis in the survey as well. So instead of showing you various graphs, I just thought I'd share a few consumer stories with you just to understand who the consumers are. So we called a number of people who participated in our survey, and these three were chosen as kind of a delegation of those. So consumer one, female, 28, she feels overwhelmed by supply of news. But she fails to find necessary information, and she's willing to pay about 10,000 tugriks per month to purchase stories that fulfills her demand. Consumer two, male, 30 years old. He's tired of gossips that he finds on social media and also on legacy media. He needs fact-based information to make certain decisions. He's willing to pay about 500 tugriks per story. Instead of a monthly or quarterly subscription, he would like to pay occasionally. Female 31, he is also tired of she is tired of political coverage. She needs information from well-trusted sources, and she's willing to pay occasionally. She also wouldn't like to pay on a monthly or weekly or quarterly basis. So these are our consumers. From the answers, you can see that consumers get overwhelmed by the supply of information. They fail to find the information they need. In terms of percentage, we asked questions from about 2,000 people, 2,029 to be exact, with the help of UB Info application. Out of those, 70% said they think the supply of information is too much, and they still fail to get the information they need from the media. So what do they feel most overwhelmed about? 50% of the respondents said they are overwhelmed with political coverage. Beauty came in second, probably due to all those sales advertisements and so on. And the others, you can see that those are just like marginal. So we have to say that political coverage is overwhelming consumers of media. And because of this, they leave stories half read. They don't finish the stories that they have started. And the top reasons for doing so is the contents are not interesting. They are too long. They have misleading titles. So after they click, they go as long as they, until they understand that the story is not what the title made them look it was, and then they leave the stories. And only 9 people from the 2029 people said they always finish the stories that they have started online. Okay. So misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. I just went with misinformation. So are we prepared at the time of misinformation in the face of COVID-19? What do people trust in? So we try to see which legacy media people trust the most, and television is the best trusted media in Mongolia, but you can see that the differences are marginal. And an unexpected outcome was that print newspapers were the 3rd most trusted, and it came after websites. And from this graphic and a few other graphics that we skipped on this presentation, we can see that readers and consumers of the media prefer accessibility, ease of usage, speed over trustworthiness. And we also wanted to compare this outcome with how people are using social media, and the level of trust in Facebook page, Facebook group, and Facebook friends, ones you have not met in real life, were not very much different. But with also a marginal difference, legacy media is trusted better. But when we look at the trust people have in people who are also on social media, the whole picture changes. Like everybody, of course, everybody believes in their friends and relatives. So when a fake news, when a misinformation is shared by your grandmother or grandfather, then its ability to persuade a consumer increases significantly. So it has a more persuading power than a story that's on the newspaper, story that's on the website, or a story that's on television. So when we talk about MIL initiatives, media and information literacy initiatives, we can see from this graphic that we have to kind of train all groups, all age groups at the same time, simultaneously. If we look at programs and initiatives, they're mostly concentrating on people under the age of 30 or 35. But this graphic shows the importance of training those people, people of all age groups at the same time. So what are our recommendations? How do we step forward? So we saw from previous graphics that political stories are overwhelming and people are not able to get what they want from the media. So what is it that they want? The type of topic that is most in deficiency is led by education and scholarship. So people want to read where to get best scholarship, where to get best education, and health came in second, and technology and environment. These are the 4 most on-demand topics in Mongolia now. Health could be due to the COVID, and we'll have to see if it persists after the coronavirus hopefully ends, but this is as of today, like education, health, technology, and environment. So if we know that people want those stories, but should all media start covering education? The answer is no. So consumers have a demand for stories that are classified based on the topic, based on the geography, and based on different age groups. So these are a new and emerging demand that we have seen and we're starting to see in Mongolia. For instance, I want to emphasize on hyperlocal journalism because we do not have any in Mongolia. And I made a separate study at the University of Finance and Economics last year, which showed that many of the people want to get all-inclusive information from one source. But from here, you can see that they want those contents to be hyperlocal. So if you're covering education, health, technology, environment, they want the stories that are not from like Mongolia overall, but from the district that you're living in. If there's a hole that has to be taken care of, they want to know that, instead of like a mine site that is a few thousand kilometers from where you live in. So this is a very important observation. So if media companies offer information that are classified by interest groups, by geography, or by age, there is certain appetite for this. Okay, do people want to get those news for free? The question is basically no. 50% of the people who participated in our survey said they are willing to pay for contents that actually fulfill their demand, and another 42% said maybe. So media companies have the opportunity to convert those 42% into yeses, into buyers, and also to supply the people, the 50% of the people who said yes, with contents that actually fulfill their demand. So how much are they willing to pay? A majority said less than 5,000 per month. This is a good start, and you can see how it goes. It kind of, we could safely say people are willing to pay from 5,000 to 15,000 per month for stories. And if we compare it to the amount of money people are paying to buy data, internet access, sorry, they are spending more than 20,000. Majority of the respondents said they are spending about 20,000 every month for internet access. So from here, you can also kind of see how media is valued. It is still valued. It is still seen by the consumers that it should be cheaper than internet access. But they are willing to pay. This is a good news. So what are our recommendations? So these are all the takeaways from the survey, and so we have included some recommendations. From this survey, we can see a significant amount of resources at media companies and freelancers are being wasted because producers do not study their consumers. So all those resources that are being spent, they are wasted. Consumers are willing to pay for news if there is a product that fulfills their demand. Consumers are willing to pay an average of 5,000 to 15,000 per month for news. And most consumers feel overwhelmed by political coverage. Education, health, technology, and environment are the top on-demand topics among consumers now. From this, we can see that I don't want to get to the like the really boring part about company management, but from this we can see that there's a demand for freelance journalism in Mongolia, independent journalists who can identify who can decide what they want to cover on their own and just do it professionally. Instead of following like an newsroom's decision, they can just decide what they want to do. Like some of my students, they have really great ideas, but it's really, I feel sorry to see that they, after graduation, they will go to some newsroom and do what the editors tell them to do. So instead of that, we see a great demand for promoting freelance journalism in Mongolia. And another graphic I didn't include in this presentation showed that reading is still the most popular method of acquiring new information. This is contrary to common belief that everybody wants to watch a video, but reading is still quite popular. We could probably support it with other factors like cost of data, type of device used by consumers, etc. And respondents showed preference for accessibility and speed over trustworthiness. So due to the this urban lifestyle, trustworthiness is not the number one priority among news consumers. It's first of all speed, and it has to be accessible, and it has to be understandable. Content or media outlets that cover a certain topic of interest or all-inclusive topics from a geographic location. And apart from these, I want to add one observation, which is sorry, my internet connection is unstable, and I'm sorry if my voice is breaking. So I see there's a lot of demand for doing surveys like this one, at least once every quarter, because the outcomes that we have seen from this survey was very much different from what we have anticipated. So we can say we don't know our consumers. So we think that news and information is the food for your brain. You must read that. But are we giving them the information that they want? We're not, we can see from here. But we will not know that until we study them constantly. This survey, the results of this survey might be 100% different, like in 3 months or half year from now. So we have to do surveys like this constantly. And news organizations have to act quickly to fulfill demands that are in the media sector. Thank you for your attention. I think
All right.
I didn't go over my time limit, did I?
Thank you so much, Doya. No, you're fine. You're fine.
Thank you.